Positional value is a buzzword that's grown to be synonymous with the running back and the linebacker position when it comes to the draft. Now, is this going to really impact Alabama linebacker Jihaad Campbell's draft status? Let's dive into the tape and talk about why he's absolutely a surefire first-round player and why positional value should not matter for this specific guy. There are so many traits that you want in off-ball linebacker, and I know that he does a lot when it comes to rushing the passer, coming down to the line of scrimmage, playing off the edge, and all those different things come with his territory as well. But what you want is someone who's really growing at the position as well, who's learning the finer tunes of what you're doing and what he's being asked to do, while also showcasing all of the different variety of things that he's asked to do like he was asked to do at Alabama in terms of playing off the edge, rushing. But what we want to see is the downhill controlled movement. This is what I love to watch because you've got a little bit of a triple option here from the Vanderbilt offense, which, you know, gave the the Alabama defense a bit of trouble in this football game. It's part of the reason, it was so close all the way down through it, and they ended up losing this football game. But this is what you want to see again. You got that triple option coming through. Running back's going to come out here. You've got lead block this way. You got a fake out here as well. Quarterback can also keep it. So for Campbell, what I like about this is, again, you're going to get eyes on easy. First, he's going to locate that football. Fine. I think the quarterback is expecting this offensive lineman to work to Campbell, which never actually happens. But still, we want to keep this straightforward for Campbell, and we want to process what you're seeing. So locate that football, get downhill, right? Make sure you're not over pursuing because the quarterback can always take it. But again, controlled movement downhill. You see how he's hopping. He's kind of taking those really short, controlled bursts down the line, going upfield. That's what you like to see for someone who's going to be, again, playing in the middle of a defense at the next level. In my opinion, you have to be able to be controlled downhill. But he can also explode downhill with those short, with those short jumps and those short hops and things like that. So overall, I think what we see from Jihaad Campbell when things are going well, right? Obviously, when you're not getting double teamed to the second level, one of those big offensive linemen getting to you, see the ability to read things out, locate the football, and then use those controlled short area bursts to square himself up to the running back and make those plays. Again, staying controlled at the line of scrimmage, noticing we've got pullers coming towards his right. So he's going to shift a little bit, right? So you've got those pullers coming around. I'm going to switch up the colors here just so I can keep the yellow on Campbell. I like that doing personally. But you got, again, eyes in the backfield. Where's that football going to go? We also understand you have to move with those pullers to an extent. You don't want to over pursue. He doesn't over pursue, right? He understands, all right, I've got overhang help off the edge, but I have to stay within my gap responsibility. So he gives himself a little bit of a two-way go here, right? So you have a double defensive lineman being blocked right here. So he's got eyes in the backfield locating that football, giving himself more of a two-way go. Again, eyes, stays patient, stays attuned to the play, and then closes on the running back right there for a short gain. So again, we have to be able to stay controlled. It's always great to get downhill and get tackles for loss, but specifically when you're trying to get some of these out, these blocks that come all the way out, maybe lead block to the edge, you want to make sure as a linebacker, you're not opening up, right? Cutback lanes. He wants to be able to use that short area burst that he has in quickness to give himself those two-way options. So in case the running back does, again, come up this way, he's able to close because he stays squared. He has that short area lateral burst to be able to get there. So moving with the blocks down, right, you see him kind of take his shoulder and dip it inside. Right here, he kind of gives, again, shows that running back, I can meet you right here in this hole. And then the running back tries to push in, he comes out, and that's where you see him close, make the tackle there. So patience is always a good thing. At times you want to get in the backfield when you recognize that play. And I still think the game is not all the way slowed down for him. He's still learning some of that. And you're going to see right here, part of that process is when you're too patient, when you are too hesitant, it can become a real problem, specifically in that short area and the goal line situation. So right here, waiting for the running back to come get him. This is just, fullback lead. Fullback's coming up through here, goes to the second level. Going to take this block on. Running back's going to come right behind him. Campbell right here sees the running back. He sees the ball. He needs to get downhill now. This is, again, short area in short yardage situations like that, you need to come downhill, meet that running back in the hole. Instead, he's meeting him at the second level. He's more just being too patient. And then that's where you see when the game is not always as sped up as it is for him. It's a little too sped up, right? He's just kind of being patient, waiting. When you're sitting there with your feet in the ground at a standstill, in the goal area like this, inside the 10-yard line, you can't be doing this. You cannot allow the running back to put his shoulder down and carry you 5 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. So just letting this happen, letting it unfold, you have to be able to get downhill again and get to this part right here. Meet that running back in the hole. He's coming right there. You've already identified the football is coming out. You've got that short area burst, acceleration to get downhill right here. Scrape inside. Scrape into this gap right here and meet that running back at the head of steam and get that tackle. Make sure he doesn't score, but instead you see him being too patient. When those running backs get ahead of steam, we all know what happens. They can carry guys into the second level. So just something to be aware of for Campbell as he continues to grow. You know, one of the things that we've really seen at the next level for linebackers is they don't come in as rookies and they're just impact players at middle linebacker. It takes some time for the most part. So you're looking for guys with the tools to be able to come in, learn the NFL game. It's fast paced. There's a lot more going on. That football IQ needs to be harnessed a little bit more. And so for a guy like Campbell, who has all the physical tools, I think we've showcased some of the football IQ stuff, reading out the plays. What are the deficiencies? What does he need to improve upon at the next level that can really round out his game and make him more of an impact player, specifically against the run? Because I think that's where you're going to see some of his deficiencies really come in. And he came into the combine with 32.5-inch arms. He's not short-armed by most standards. It's not as long as you maybe would want to see, but overall, this is where you do see some of that length concerns, maybe some of the just not always using his length that I think he can to stack and shed and peak, right? We want to see hands into the chest, right? We want to see those extension, pull off, right? Locate that football and see where he's at. And typically, I know he's in an overhang position right here, but this translates just as well to in the middle of the field as it does right here on the edge. So he's going to get blocked by a tight end. Perfect situation for him to be in because defensive ends, linebackers want to be blocked by those tight ends. But he does allow that tight end right into his chest, right? He lets him in there and then he extends instead of the other way around. A little bit too patient. He's a little high as well. His hips are very high, right? We don't want them always so high when taking on blocks. You want to be able to kind of hunker down a little bit, keep your feet a little bit more narrow. They're extremely wide. And then again, he's going to get kind of pushed off. So this is going to open up, that lane right there. He's a guy who always works through. He wants to work through, right? He's going to keep trying to set that edge and then try to shed off the block. But when you're able to really hunker down, keep your hips a little bit more under you, keep your base a little bit, I guess, a little more narrow, but this is it's just too wide for him. And then use maybe that left arm, inside arm to really set the edge properly and use that power. So I think he can, like I said, still stand to put a little bit more weight on to fill out properly. But that does translate to the next level as well. He will get swallowed up by offensive linemen. He rips under a little bit at times, puts himself out of gaps, and then he swims through as well, which can help him close before running backs get into the hole. But overall, I think what we see from Campbell is that he does have some of that. It flashes from time to time in terms of stacking and shedding. He needs to be able to do that more, or when his football IQ continues to get better and better, he'll see these runs come through and he'll undercut these blocks and be able to get into the backfield. I think that's where you're going to see where in the run game, he might get lost in a few blocks from time to time, but overall, he's going to make some ridiculously tough hits where he's physically able to put himself in good position. Again, right here, you see meeting the running back in the hole. Really good base. He's got his hips lowered, and he's using that short area explosiveness to come downhill and really impact the running back at the point of attack. So there is a ton to like here from Campbell in terms of being able to get, that middle linebacker upside out of him. Just some of the tools, fill out a little bit more because he has speed for days. When you have speed like he has, that doesn't just leave with a few extra pounds of muscle on you like he will need to be able to get, I think, off of some blocks in the NFL and deal with some of those bigger tight ends and those blocking tight ends at the point of attack. But overall, the speed, the athleticism, those things he's going to continue to have, and it's still at 240 pounds. If he's bulked up to 250. Like, I don't think we're going to see a huge loss of that athleticism and burst, because when you have something like this, this is just one of those natural tools with that short area explosion. When you got a flea flicker here from Missouri, I'm not entirely sure who they thought was in the middle of the field, but initially he's kind of patient. He's waiting to see what happens here. Running back gets up to the line of scrimmage, and then you're going to see, that burst. By the time the running back turns around, he's nearly at the line of scrimmage. That's how fast he's able to click, close, and get downhill. And this translates to every phase of the game, going sideline to sideline. Again, pass rush, in coverage, in the run game. Right there, he's already at the line of scrimmage, and he's in the backfield, and it's too late. The quarterback can't get away. So you have to have eyes on him at all times if you're an offensive line. He is a true problem, because if you leave him unblocked, if you take away a little bit too much here, going after number 50 towards the inside a little bit, wrong color, my apologies, go to the inside a little bit, and you allow Campbell to just come right here, you cannot let him out of your sight for 2 seconds. The tight end over here, 86, needs to get eyes on Campbell as well. But that's one of the things that he does well is he can be patient. He can wait for the play to unfold a little bit before he closes downhill. That's how fast and how explosive he really is as a player. So when you see, I believe he's over here, when you see his natural athleticism, speed, burst in space, it's extremely eye-popping. I think he's just as comfortable moving backward in terms of playing in that coverage, playing in zone. He has the hips, he has the footwork, he has that agility, that natural feel for space, where he's able to not only sit in some of those zones, but keep eyes on the quarterback. Like you're going to see right here, he's going to kind of take a step forward, get back, and then move over to his left a little bit towards that referee, come back, right here is where you're seeing him back out and then get over here, really. Just out to the left just a little bit, carrying a receiver out, right? Initially, you've got Carson Beck looking this way to begin with. So when we move back a little bit, you're going to see the eyes of Beck go right first. So that's where we have eyes Campbell looking for the receiver, right? Oh, I love to see the gears turning. I love to see where he's looking, because again, he's moving back this way, eyes coming out down to his right, but then he's going to move with that receiver initially, right? Now he's got eyes on the quarterback. Eyes on the quarterback, who apparently does not see him in the slightest, who's going to just try to throw this football behind Campbell. And that's where you see, again, that movement in space, that feel, that natural ability to shift his feet around, get in the passing lane, and then just come away with the interception. I don't think he's going to be a guy that gets a ton of interceptions. That's just not going to be where he thrives. You're going to see him like this, getting to his spots very quickly, and then kind of making plays on footballs. Now, if quarterbacks try to throw it over him, obviously he can jump. He's got really great athleticism to be able to maintain that ability in the air. He's got good body control, and he's going to be able to take away some passes over the middle of the field if you try to test him. Underneath is where you're probably going to see him shine. Crossers, everything like that, where he's seeing those plays come underneath him. He's going to trigger downhill extremely quickly and get after that. And then again, he's going to be able to line up against tight ends, against some bigger receivers, I think, and play man coverage. Again, you see that click and close. When he's at that break point, he's going to shift. He's carrying upfield right here. Again, he's going to stay on top of the route. When the tight end breaks, boom, he's undercutting it immediately. Again, he's able to read body language very well, and he nearly comes away with another interception in this game. This would have been, I believe, a false encroachment on the defense regardless, but you're seeing the ability, right? How he's maintaining eyes in zone, that last play. And now we're seeing, all right, I have inside leverage, man coverage with the tight end. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to read body language, and then I'm going to click on where he's breaking and make a play over the middle of the field. So, or at least on into the seam area. He has the speed to carry tight ends upfield wherever they need to. He also has that ability where we see you want to mug him up to the line of scrimmage. You want to get him into this area. He can back out into some of those Tampa 2 sets where he's, getting all the way down here and able to make some of those plays downfield where he's able to take away tight ends over the middle, and then all that seam speed that he has to carry tight ends as well. So he's got tons of that ability in the bag. And then you do what he's able to do as a pass rusher, where whether it's in the A gap, whether it's off the edge, obviously it's more raw for him in terms of just he's trying to win based off pure athleticism, and he has some tools at his disposal. But you see, he lines up off the edge and he beats Will Campbell around. good recovery here from Campbell, and his hands kind of give him a little push in the lower back. He slips, feet come on out from under him. But on the end zone angle, we're going to see this is like a delayed pass rush where he's going to kind of be patient, wait for the hands of Campbell, and then he's going to take a very wide outside step right here. Look at where he can go. He can go out here, slap down with his hands, and then just get around the edge. Dip that shoulder underneath, and then he's got that ankle flex, right? Talk about bend and ankle flex. He has both. He can bend around the corner, and he can flex his ankles very well to corner to the quarterback. And this is a very narrow area that he gets for Nussmeier. But again, you see his foot kind of slip out from under him. But the timing, the innate ability to kind of rush the passer from wherever he is, the outside, or just kind of up the middle. We saw him just close on Brady Cook, the Missouri quarterback, on that flea flicker because he has that speed to be able to do all those things. But when you put everything together, this is really where his upside comes in for me because, like we've talked about, his identifying his football IQ, I think, is all there. The game still has not completely slowed down for him. But the reason he's a first-round pick, even at linebacker, is because he's already doing some of the things that you like from the linebacker position in terms of reading the play out, getting into his depth, understanding where the coverage is going, and then clicking and making plays like this at the sideline. Yes, it's a 5-yard gain, but what are we actually asking him to do? Recognize multiple things. You have a zone defender out here. There's a tight end that's going to be running up the seam, or receiver's going to run up the seam and going into this zone. And obviously for Campbell, who is kind of going to come up a little bit and then get back into his zone and carry that defender, how is he processing this information as it's happening? So there, number 0 comes up and through. So play action fake, running back goes out to the flat this way. So you see Campbell take a little bit of a hesitation step up to read that play out. And now eyes are going to be on the receiver, okay? So he's going to get his depth proper right here, knowing that he's going to come up the seam. But as soon as he realizes that this receiver is going into this zone, in this DB zone, he's going to come off of that and then get eyes into the flat, right? He sees that this receiver, is going to now get into the flat right here. So eyes, as he's coming through here, this receiver here, the eyes for Campbell go from here, understanding, all right, that defender's got him. I can now get over here because the quarterback is getting outside the pocket to his right. So he's understanding all of that as it's happening. And then boom, he's going to close to make that play right there, meeting the receiver at the catch point and then driving through him with the tackle. This is where you see that football IQ and the processing, the gears all turning within a few seconds as the play is unfolding to be able to make plays like this, that change of direction, the short area burst, his footwork, uniqueness of which he can move. They all come in display on the multiple clips that we've seen. And this one really, I think, encapsulates what I think he can be in the NFL. So overall, he's got some learning to do, some football IQ. The game still has to slow down. But he has man coverage upside, real man coverage upside, not only tight ends, but some bigger receivers as well. He has really good space feel, zone feel. We talked about his run defense. He understands. He sees plays coming through. He kind of gets himself into space to make some of those plays. I do think at times with his high pad level, he will come off of tackle. So kind of tackle a little bit too high and he'll fall off. Needs to be a little bit more sure-handed there. But overall, you see some of the length issues in terms of he needs to be able to get inside some of these offensive linemen, tight ends, and really stack and shed, get eyes in the backfield. But that's going to come with time. He has the tools to still defeat them with the different rips underneath, the swims over, and then his ability to just kind of accelerate upfield and make those short area cuts, bursts, to be able to get into holes before offensive linemen can get to him. So he will get caught on blocks from time to time, but overall what we're seeing is a guy that has all of the tools that can encapsulate what a true middle linebacker is. And that's why no matter what, I know he just had a minor surgery done on a small tear in his labrum. That's not going to impact his draft stock in my opinion at all, and nor should it. He's going to be a top 20, top 15 player in this class, and he should go that high in the draft based purely on his multifaceted ability, the versatility, and then how he's already developed in such a short time to get to where he is right now. So linebacker from Alabama, Jihaad Campbell, absolutely should be a first-round pick in a top half pick in this 2025 NFL draft. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of one of the most explosive players, one of the most fun players to scout in this draft class. And if you guys are new to the TDN YouTube channel, please hit that sub button right now, hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.